everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a good day today. So I was actually making this video in the car. If y'all have been with my channel for a little while, in the beginning I used to do these bus stop happenings, which are just shorter videos from about 5 to 10 minutes that I used to do while I was waiting for my daughter to come home from school and get off the bus. So I would make those videos while I was in my car. So I was in my car right now picking up my daughter from school, and I was making a video, and then she was released from school and I had to stop the video right before I even got to really answer the question that I was answering. So I'm home now and it's a bit windy out here, but I thought I'd go ahead and just remake the video from the beginning. So in the bus stop happenings, I used to do those pretty much daily, but I think what I'll do is I will do it at least once a week and post that video midweek so that you'll have a little bit more content other than just that one video that I post per week. So anyway, in those videos I would usually answer just like a question that came in through the comments or that came in through my email. And so I really enjoy getting y'all's comments and questions. If y'all want to send any comments or questions for me to answer, go ahead and send them, and then that way I can start answering those during my pickups, okay? Because my daughter's not coming home on the bus anymore, but I do drive to her school and I wait in the pickup line for about 10 minutes. So it'll still work out really good that way. So anyhow, the question that I'm talking about today is about non-duality. Originally my channel was more focused on non-duality. Now I'm doing a little bit more talking about identity and identity shifting, and all these exciting new things. So anyhow, in non-duality, somebody had emailed me a question, and then I had also seen a comment that was very similar to the question that I had received. So especially if it's like a question that's recurring or I think other people would benefit from, I'll probably make a video response to those as opposed to just like a written response. So the question was about meing and being, like meing, like M-E-I-N-G, and being. So the person was saying that it appears that for themselves, they were talking in the email, that they're in the state of meing, and sometimes they'll be in the state of being. Then I've also received a comment stating that it appears something that to the effect that there was a glimpse and then there's a sense of me still there. So I wanted to kind of talk about the meing and being from the question. So that kind of goes along with the comment of that, you know, a person could have a glimpse, or like the other person had said, could be in a state of being for a while, then a state of meing. And so it's not really different for me. To me, it's kind of just seamless, the same sort of thing. There is, I think, a different energy to meing or being. I don't really like to use those terms. First of all, they're just kind of hard to say, but I don't really see them different or separate. I don't see hardly anything different or separate. Everything is just one, happening all at once. So life is happening, whether you're in the sense that you're a me or that you're a no self or whatever you want to identify as in that moment. So whether you're in a state of meing or being, I find that more to be an energy. So I'll kind of explain that in the way of masculine and feminine. And what came to mind when I thought about talking about it more as an energy was the yin yang symbol. So y'all know the yin yang symbol. It's got like basically a black side and a white side, and you know, there's also just this duality, this pattern and kind of just recurring theme of duality in everything that we see. So there's duality in that yin yang, and what it's kind of representing is those opposite or opposing energies that actually are needed together in order to be what this all is. So the energies are, let's say, a feminine and a masculine energy, okay? So generally everything is kind of flowing in that way. It's either masculine or feminine. And this is something that's really fundamental to pretty much the nature of reality, to all the appearances you're going to see. There's a feminine and a masculine energy, and there's literally the feminine and the masculine biological, you know, sense of what one is, right? So and even then, even when there is, like, let's say it's a woman or a man. It could be the other way around. It could be a man with very feminine energy or a woman with very masculine energy. So it's not necessarily like that it's defined by your biology or, you know, what your physiology is, but it's more so what you're doing, what you're projecting, your personality at that time, the energy that you're carrying, the things that you're doing. They're either feminine or masculine. So with non-duality, what I found from my experience is that that would be more of the feminine side of reality. Although what I wanted to kind of clear up is that non-duality is not like when you're non-dual, or you say that you reach some non-dual realization or something. It's not that you are no longer Meing or being a person. Everything continues on just like it's always been. Even prior to you having that experience, you were not having a real self in you. It's all been one this whole time. Nothing has really changed. What changed in that moment is your perception of what you feel that you are and what you're identifying as in this moment and how you see the world. So that changed, but you have always been what is, you know, it's always been life happening. So nothing's really essentially changed, and you're still going to have to be a me. You're still going to have to do things. Maybe there are some people that can kind of, you know, check out or, you know, join a monastery or become a yogi or something like that. But I find that to be pretty rare, and I don't really want that for myself. So even if that was the case, that I had this and now I realize there's nothing to do, I still feel that I would choose to do something, just because my interests don't completely just align with just being. Although being was very beautiful for a moment there after my non-dual realization, I actually didn't work. I didn't do very much at all. I've always wanted to just kind of be a stay-home mom, so I focused on that. But in that state, I was really not doing hardly, you know, even 50% of what I used to do when I was working and doing a bunch of other hobbies and things that I was doing. So in that state of being, I mean, it was very beautiful. It was very blissful. It was very easy. Everything just kind of flowed, and, you know, it was just magical, and I could just take time to do whatever I wanted and explore. So that's why I kind of see the non-dual, even though it's not separate. I hate to kind of call it the non-dual, but, you know, when you have that realization, that kind of blissful state is more of that feminine energy. The feminine energy, if we were going to describe what feminine energy is, it is flowing, it's easy, it's free, it's playful, it's looking at beauty, creativity, it's it doesn't keep time, it's, you know, just enjoying in the moment and not worrying about time. It's very free. So you get that sense of freedom like you get the sense of freedom when you have a non-dual realization. So the non-dual state of, supposedly, like if you want to separate it in those words that y'all used, Meing and being is the feminine energy. And so Meing, okay, I'm getting confused now, even myself. So being is your feminine energy. So when you're just in that state of being, in that state of bliss, and just enjoying what's, you know, around you, and just really free and open, that's the feminine energy. And to me, that would be that sense of being. So you could be in that sense of being, but you can't really, it's all seamless. You can't really have one without the other. They're together. They're always together. Even if we talk about male and female roles, or male and females in general, or in the, you know, with the animals, male and females, they carry both the feminine and the masculine energy in one. So a man is mostly masculine generally. That's typically the way it is. He's carrying and working with more masculine energy the majority of time. And so at the end of the day, when he's done doing most of his masculine stuff, he is going to come home and relax, and if he has a spouse, you know, she's going to bring in more of that feminine energy for him. But regardless if he has a spouse or not, he's going to switch to the feminine energy when he's having his downtime. So you got to have both to keep balance and to keep sanity and all that. So it's just nature. So same thing with like the nature of reality. There's the being, which is, let's say, the state of just being in that blissful state, or like in non-duality, everything that we see as appearances is everything, but it could also be nothing, because nothing is really happening and everything is an illusion. So when we're in the sense of everything is nothing and it's just an illusion, that's the feminine energy of just being. But when we're in the sense of it's everything and anything is possible and it's infinite and there's infinite possibilities that we can jump through and do whatever we want, that's more of the masculine. Okay, the masculine has goals. The masculine keeps time, and he keeps time space, and keeps a timeline, keeps linear kind of movements, has more accountability, whereas the female doesn't really take accountability in that kind of way. So the masculine's more of a more serious role. It's more of a role of doing, achieving, goals, all of those things. So the work that I'm talking about, the identity shifting and all of that, that would be more masculine. Now, of course, you could be shifting into a very feminine role, and that would be more feminine. But the act of you switching timelines and just not being, but actually doing things, is the more masculine side of things. So regardless of if you've had a non-dual realization or not, this is all already occurring, whether you realize it or not. But anyhow, you can be in that state of being for a long time, but it's okay. It's part of everything to also be a me, or also identify as something. The difference with me or anybody who's had a realization is that once you have this realization, your sense of me, like who I am, is not limited to this body. It's not limited to this form. It's not limited to this personality, or, you know, that I have to be a certain way, that this is a certain person. All of that falls away. It's very loose now. This identity could be anything. I could be another person at any time, you know, so I could, this person you're seeing is an infinite amount of possibilities. And not only is it an infinite amount of possibilities in this container, in this what you see here, I'm also everything else that's happening around me. I'm also every person around me. Everything is a projection happening within me. So all of that is happening, but you're not this just me, okay? So I'm not just this Nydia in this body that has brown hair, that talks this way and does these things. It's not limited like that. So when you have your realization, the sense of meing is not something that I have to protect for this individual. Like, it's very free and flowing. But the difference is, if you're using more the masculine energy and you're like shifting realities like I'm talking about, you might have a desire there, you might have a goal there, you might have something that you want. But it's so easy now, when your sense of self has fallen away, who you are as a me isn't fixed. And it doesn't need to be fixed, and it has no desire to be fixed. It's not trying to cling on to being this person or having this certain kind of reputation or anything. It doesn't really care. It's just moving, changing, evolving, doing whatever it wants to do. It's just whatever it wants, really. So that's what I wanted to kind of touch on as far as non-duality. The sense of meing and being is essentially the same thing, and essentially nothing's happening. This is just all whatever you want it to be. So if whatever you want it to be is just to be in the state of being, if you think that's the ultimate state to be, then that is what will happen. You can do that, and you can actually start doing that right in this moment. You can always shift into anything. You can always be whatever you want to be in that moment. So you could actually shift just into being right now. You don't have to have a realization. You don't have to have a glimpse. What will happen though is if you don't know or don't embody and feel really in your heart that you are everything, and there's just still the sense of separation from everything else, then that's where there's the sense of separation. So I wouldn't say it's Meing or being is any better than one or the other. It's just all happening. Where there's the suffering or where there's the issue is the sense of separation. When you feel that you're separate from everything, where you're separate from the divine, when you're separate from your power, when you're feeling powerless, when you're feeling limited instead of limitless, when you're feeling bound instead of boundless. So it's the energy of contraction, okay? And sometimes that can also be called the masculine energy. So if we go to the Meing that someone was talking about, in that state, you're doing things, you're trying to achieve things, you're moving from timelines, you're jumping here and there and doing whatever. So in that sense, you're doing something, okay? So that energy is contracted, it's working, it's doing things, whereas the feminine energy is very free. You know, it's just enjoying, relaxing, ease. So even if you think about like humans and like couples, you know, the masculine is always, usually the masculine energy prefers to like drive the car, and they feel very good in that role and being the leader and driving and being the protector. Where the feminine is very much in her space when she's the passenger, listening to music, singing, being playful, relaxing, looking out the window, talking. And in that pairing of the masculine and the feminine energy, they're actually very balanced there. That's actually very good, you know. So same thing with the Meing and the being energy. You want to have both. You don't necessarily just want to be stuck in the Meing energy or the being energy. You want to have a little of both, because that's how you balance, and that's how that's how it's worked for centuries, forever. And even though there's no real time in this appearance, it appears to be time. That's the masculine keeping time. And that's another thing, keeping time. You know, for the masculine, they're very punctual. They want to get places on time. They want to have something by a certain time, or, you know, they have goals and timelines that they keep. Whereas the feminine is more open and free and not so much keeping time. They're more likely to be late. They're more likely to take their time. So there's the differences there. But anyhow, you need both, and they balance each other out, and that's just how it's always worked. With humans, with animals, with plants, with everything, including the universe and including the nature of reality. That's why you see that yin-yang symbol, and that's what that's symbolizing. Those two energies are needed to balance everything out, and they are everything in that circle. They're everything. They're in there. They're everything, and they're also nothing. So it's a very beautiful thing. I kind of just posted on my community tab, just kind of a reminder about this because it was on my mind. But this all stemmed from me wanting to make a video during the pickup of my daughter at school. So I think I will go ahead and continue to do those. There'll be like a video while I'm sitting in the car. But since I had kind of run out of time, I thought I would get on here and make y'all a video. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad that y'all get to see this. I'll try to upload it here right away. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any comments or questions, please comment down below. Or if you want to more privately, you can email me your question or comment. Thank you so much for watching.